because I know there's a lot more details being done than window tint installations or PPF installations. So if you have a few customers a week, just cross-selling the window tint.
100%.
And it's just a natural add-on to it. And then, at some point, let's say you do learn PPF, that's an even other add-on. So you increase the lifetime value of your customer, and you don't have to market, to find that customer. So
welcome back, guys. Today's topic is going to be about window tints and paint protection film, also known as PPF. I know we're in the automotive film business. We've been working with it since around 2019, 2020.
Right.
And what's our experience with window tint and PPF? Because I know for some people, they want to get into it or they just want to start a business. They don't know what to do. Is it still profitable? Because I know in 2022, the automotive industry took a turn down. Where people started getting repoed for their cars. I know a lot of people started defaulting, and so the automotive industry took a hit.
No, definitely. Like you saw, a lot of like you mentioned, the repos, the people couldn't afford it, the interest rates, and so like the automotive the automotive industry definitely took a hit, as we saw, and also in our core business.
Oh, we seen, because I'm pretty sure you saw some ads too. No, like before they used to charge a lot for PPF. They used to charge a lot, but now they're charging like the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And I know for vinyl wraps, I saw an ad recently for a full wrap, $2,100.
It's because I think they're also going for a certain demographic too. They're going for like the lower end, the people that are just looking for pricing, and usually the type of customers that they are, they're not the best. Usually when people are nickeling and diming, when they want the lowest price possible, they're usually the pickiest too. As opposed to someone, you tell them the price, let's say $4,000 or $5,000 for a full wrap. They're like, sure, just go. There's a different type of customer, and I think they're going on the lower end. And but as we've learned that we want the good customers, the right customers, and those are the kinds that we offer great value, great service to, and then accordingly we charge them. And so those are the type of customers that we want. So it is definitely a viable option, the window tint and PPF. It's just that we have to target the right audience.
Is it still profitable? Because I know am I going to be able to get customers at that price?
And that's the thing. Like, I think that's one thing that through time and through experience, you're going to have to get. Because I was thinking off the bat, you can start practicing on the lower pricing, to actually get customers in. And then once you do that, through time, and through experience, you'll see kind of what customers value. And then you start, outfitting that value and then just focusing, like kind of, you could say, moving your way towards the correct customers, you could say. And then obviously, like, even at the lower end, there's still some profit. That's why they still exist. That's why they're still marketing and whatnot. They still exist. So there's margins there. Not a lot though. Well, I mean, there might be some. Actually, I don't even know. But they're spending money on ads. They're vinyl wrapping. They're still paying their overhead. So that there's profit, there's still profit. And so as you move up towards the the better customers, obviously the margins increase, and then with that more money, you have more money to advertise, you have more money to do all these things to acquire more customers. And so it's just through time, just getting that experience down, getting the skill down, in my opinion, I believe. And then getting, like you said, your repetitions in when it comes to like installing, dealing with customers, and then move your way towards the right customers. And so even at the lower end, I think there's still like money to be made. But there's good money to be made once, like, we are working with the good customers, you could say.
Yeah, because I definitely agree that there's money to be made. I know right now the cost of the material is not a lot. It's dollars to what you could charge. I guess my next question is, we know some of the pros and cons because we started a shop, taking in customers, but we didn't commit all the way. We just left it to the side because we wanted to commit to our core business. What are some of the pros that you've seen? Because I seen like some pros that the pros and cons of both having a window tint and PPF shop. But from what you've seen, what are some of the pros? The benefits.
Yeah, like, and the pros in business in general is that you're able to work on your own hours. So that in general business, including window tint and PPF shop, you technically can work your own hours. But the pros is that it's
Well, what about PPF or PPF and window tint versus another business like a detailing or a landscaping or going into some other service or media?
Well, I think the main one is that you're able to work on cars, which a lot of people that are in detailing or in those type of services, they tend to like cars. So you'll be able to work on some really cool cars. You'll be able to, get that, just work on some really cool cars.
I think it also depends on what you like. Because if I don't like being in the office, working in the computer, because there's some people that like to be on the field, hands-on.
Right.
I tend to be one of those people that like to be hands-on.
Right.
And I think it just depends on what you like.
Definitely. That's true.
Yeah, because I'm, based on my experiences dealing with some of the people I've interacted with, they're willing to take a lower cut, working on something that they're, actively, working with their hands versus being in the office, just there sitting down or standing up.
No, definitely. And so like if you're a definitely hands-on person, then that would be a great business because you get to work on the vehicles, you get to work with tools, you get to work with the film. So that's if you like that kind of thing, then it's a great business because you get to do that all day.
Yeah.
Work on cars that you like, if you like cars, which I think you should if you're gonna go in that business, or at least you should have. Actually, you don't even need to like cars.
You don't.
You don't need to like. It's a plus if you do.
Yeah.
But honestly, like you could really do any business you don't really like. I mean, when it comes to being successful, that's questionable. But can you make money from something that you don't like? I think so.
Yeah.
And so those are the positives that you get to work on cool cars. If you're a hands-on person, then you get to do that all day.
Yep.
And I think that's really good if you do like that.
I think also another thing is, at least with window tints and versus like, let's say, detailing or even landscaping or another business that you're out and about. I know in the beginning you could start with mobile window tinting, but eventually you make enough money to where you start looking for a shop, and then you actually have a location. And that's the thing, that with window tints and PPF, like you just have a location, you get the customer in, you work on it, and you're there. You don't have to be out and about. You don't have to go from one city to the next.
Yeah, and then I will say there's another plus in the being mobile still. Like I know, like, because there's negatives with the shop. There's overhead. If you get no customers, then you still have to pay the overhead. Yep. But with mobile, there's no overhead, and I know that that's a positive, that you don't have overhead when it comes to being mobile, and you do get to charge more for the convenience if you package it right and let have the customer be aware of the value that you're bringing by going to their place. And then obviously there's things to mitigate, like those cancellations and whatnot, like taking deposits and things like that. So I would say there's positives for both.
There's like in everything, there's pros and cons for everything.
Right. And so I just wanted to say the positive well, like in everything, there is. There's a lot of pros to it, I see. And then it's to learn that skill also, it's easy-ish, I would say.
For window tint or PPF?
Both.
For both.
I would say maybe window tint, it's a little bit easier because paint protection film, like it's different vehicles have different body styles. Some have sharp edges, some have smoother, some have flatter. And so I would say window tint is slightly easier than PPF. But it's still learnable. We learned it the opposite way. We learned PPF first, and then we learned window tint. And so I think overall it's an easy skill and job to learn.
Yeah, what about price point that you see? Because I know we're in Los Angeles, it tends to be a little bit more expensive than other states in the U.S. But how much can someone charge for a job?
It really does depend, like on the low end, and it really does depend on like different variations. Like for example, if it's just one window tint to match the other one, let's say $50, $60, $70. And it really does depend on the film, but let's say on the low end, like $40.
Okay.
And then on the high end, for example, like a Tesla Model Y or Tesla Model 3, getting the full, like the front, the sides, the rear, and then the top, because a lot of cars nowadays have glass on top. I've heard it being as high as $1,600. So it really does depend, and that's with ceramic tint, and so it really does vary a lot. But you would say on average, let's say 4 doors, $200 to $300.
Yeah, easily $200.
$200, and then obviously it has to be packaged right, because then there are going to be some people that try to compete on pricing, like $120, $130, $150. We've got it at the Priuses that we had. We got it at $120.
$120 for all the windows.
So there's going to be those shops, but
it wasn't even the best quality film.
No,
it was just like the average dyed, because I know, like how you said, that there's the very good film, which is the nano ceramic film. And I kind of did the math, and so if we're going at the average $200 to $300, let's just say you're doing $200 a job, and then you only do one a day. So if you do that for 6 days, working from Monday through Saturday, that's gonna be $1,200. And then you multiply it by, you work the full year, one car a day. And obviously, like, you could always get 2 or 3, you know, depending on your skill level, depending on if you want more customers. And then there's some days you're not going to get more, like, you're not going to get any, but there's some days you're going to get more. But let's just say you get one for 6 days and you do that for a whole year. That's, I think it comes out to 64,000.
Yeah.
So it's not bad. And if you're just by yourself, like how you mentioned, you could be mobile.
Yeah.
You don't have overhead. You don't have employees. You don't have utilities. There's other things you do have to pay, like insurance and whatnot, but you make pretty good money by yourself.
Yeah, and that's on the low end, because $200 is really on the low end. And so, like, you know, you've probably heard it everywhere, but like the possibilities are really limitless or endless. And so that's on the low end. So there's definitely a lot of potential in that window tint and PPF business, especially as you know, there's always new cars coming out. There's always going to be like that demand. Yep. And so, like, as long as there's new cars coming out, there's going to be some type of demand.
Yep.
And so window tints, yeah, definitely, that's something that I see that is going to be consistently in demand. Now the supply, like, when it comes to competitors, might go up, or just like in anything, but window tint, including PPF, there's always going to be the customers that want to protect their paint. It's always going to exist. Yep. In my opinion, just based on, you know, new cars coming out and the type of people that exist, like wanting to protect, wanting the best for their cars, is going to exist. And so it's just about finding them.
So what are the cons though? Because I know there's a lot more cons towards PPF, and not that it's bad, but because there's a higher price point versus window tint. So what are the cons for, you know, window tinting and PPF business?
For both of them?
For both, either or.
I mean, window tints, you could say that competition. Some are gonna go on pricing, and so they're gonna undercut. And so I would say maybe that's a con. And really, that's not a lot of cons. And then maybe, like, if you're mobile, working on, maybe there's times where you have to work under the sun. And so when it comes to that, but other than that, there's not a lot of cons. As far as PPF, you kind of, it would be best to be under an enclosed area. Yep. Because if you get some dirt underneath, it's easier to get dirt underneath. So whether it be like, if you're mobile, then having like a canopy or something that prevents like the wind from, you know, blowing to the where you're working at. And so I guess that's a con, that it's preferable, or it's actually better if you work in an enclosed area, whether it be a shop, a canopy, to where like the dirt doesn't get underneath the film in the car. So that's a con. And then also that it's not as familiar yet as window tints. So not when you, like, a lot of people that have worked with us, they did not know what PPF was, and so it's still not as known, and so it's still kind of it's growing and growing fast and growing a lot, but it's still like not as well known as window tints, and so that's a con. And so then you would have to kind of educate the customer on what a paint protection film is, and so that's a con when it comes to PPF. Higher price points.
Yeah, and then with that, one of the things, if you are interested in going into window tint and PPF, I think they go hand in hand, also with vinyl wrap. Because if you just focus on paint protection film, that's like how we mentioned, that's a high price point. So you might get a customer 1 week, you may not get the customer the next week. And obviously, like, as you continue growing, as people start knowing you, as people recommend you to their friends and families or people they know, you're going to consistently have that customer base for PPF. But I know towards the beginning, like I mentioned, you may get one, you may not get one for the next week. And so because it's a higher price point, I think window tint and PPF go hand in hand. If you're not getting that PPF job, then you still have window tint. You're always going to have people coming in inquiring. We get the inquiries. Like, I know we haven't fully closed the Yelp for the shop. Yeah. And people inquire every day, no?
Yeah, definitely. And so I mean, with that, I guess that's just one marketing tip, that open up a Google and Yelp. Because Google, like, if you're in the vicinity of anyone that's looking for, let's say I'm right here and my shop is a mile away and I'm looking for window tint, more than likely you're going to pop up. Yep. And so it's like, and really, like, if you look Google for anything, like food near me. Yep. So if people are in your vicinity and they look up window tint near me, you're going to pop up and you're going to get inquiries, and then it's up to you to kind of just close on them. Yep. And so that's just, you know, a quick, easy marketing tip. That's really the only way that we've been getting customer. Granted, we're not taking in customers, but we've been getting it that way, and we don't need that, or we don't want it because we don't offer it. So quick marketing tip, or I guess marketing tip, just open up your Google profile and Yelp profile, and a lot of people look through there.
I would be watching and I would think to myself, if window tinting and PPF is not bad to do. Why aren't you guys doing it? And it goes back to just that it doesn't make sense for us. We're working on our core business that it's leading towards something else, which is e-commerce, and then eventually expanding from there. And then if we start a window tint and PPF shop, even a wrap shop, it's a new business on its own. So we're gonna have to spend time, we're gonna have to spend resources, we're gonna have to spend personnel, acquiring customers. So we're gonna have to build it from the ground up, and it just doesn't make sense for us right now to follow that. And so that's one of the reasons, because I would be thinking like, you guys are talking highly about that,
definitely. And just adding on to it, like you said, and then I guess it goes back to focus. We learned that we need to focus on our main business. And so learning that, it's really the only reason why we have opened up a PPF and window tint shop. Because if we didn't have this business, more likely than not, we would be going into some type, either that business or something very close to it, which is, pretty much service-based.
Yeah, vehicles.
Because it just makes sense. And because we started, our core business, 2019?
2019.
So it just makes sense to focus on it. But granted, it's very closely related to the window tint shop.
100%.
And so I know there's a lot of things that we have experience with, a lot of, material that we can help with, tools, film. And so it's very, very close to it. But, that's, like you said, the main reason why is because we learned to focus on our core business. And so if you are going to open up a window tint and PPF shop, just focus on that. And that's 100%. The only thing that's the only business, no side hustles. That's what we've learned. No side hustle, no side business. Focus on that. And so, like you said, that's the main reason. That is the main reason why we do not do a window tint and PPF shop. Because if we didn't have, I'm reiterating, but if we didn't have it, I think it just makes the most sense. Because we have the most familiarity with it, and because the barrier to entry is not that high. And if you do things right, it can be extremely profitable.
Yeah, that's one of the things I would recommend. If you are interested in that, start with window tint, because that's
the easiest.
Easiest. You could be mobile. You could get a job done within, as little as 30 minutes to at most 4 hours, but I don't think you're going to take that long. So I would recommend that because, again, you're mobile. If you are working, like how we mentioned, one of the things we need to have is focus. So, and if you're still working at a job, then, work your job Monday to Friday or whatever you need, and then take jobs during the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And, you're mobile, you're gaining money. As you gain money, then you could start, going all in on it.
And even if you have a detailing business, like you have an existing, I feel like it's a good cross-sell.
100%.
A good cross-sell. You're detailing, let's say, because I know there's a lot more details being done than window tint installations or PPF installations. So if you have a few customers a week, just cross-selling the window tint.
100%.
And it's just a natural add-on to it. And then, at some point, let's say you do learn PPF, that's an even other add-on. So you increase the lifetime value of your customer, and you don't have to market, to find that customer. So it's just a natural progression to your, what is it called? Automotive care services. Detailing, window tint, PPF. And so whether you have a job or you have an existing, let's say, detailing business or something that, with cars. Granted, it should be in the same, because if you're a mechanic, you still can. That's the thing. We don't know.
I was going to say that because I know there's some shops that they do window film, then they do radio service, electronic stereos. And I think, yes, it's in the automotive. Like you mentioned, they're both working with cars, but one is mechanical and one is, film service, taking care of it.
But if you're able to have the skill for both and be able to, logistically, that's something that we learn in our business, that it has to make sense to have to fit in. But if you're able to manage, the personnel, the different skills that needs to be had, I think I don't see any reason why, because you already have existing customers. Just expand the services that you can offer them. And so it makes sense in my head. In your head,
because I've seen some locations where they have an oil change, then they have a tire shop, then they have a window tint, then they have a stereo. And I'm assuming, I don't know, I could be wrong, but they might be different people, so they start networking and they get together. And so, hey, by the way, if you want window tint, I'm here. By the way, if you need stereo service, I'm here. So I think also connecting with people, networking, referring, because if you're not able to do a job like a PPF job, but people are inquiring, you find a person who could do PPF. Hey, I have this customer who needs a PPF job, I'm gonna send them to you, and then you could get a commission.
Yeah.
Based on that.
Yeah.
So it's just networking with people.
Yeah. Networking with people, connecting with people.
Yeah, because there's a lot of things we could go right now into, like how you could actually grow it from start to finish, what you need to do, the marketing, the referrals, the just how to get leads overall. We could go into it, but just focusing back on if window tint and PPF is actually a good business. I personally do think it is. And how you mentioned, if we weren't doing our core business, which is e-commerce, 100% we would go into something similar.
And it just makes sense because we're able to do it. We have some experience in it, and I think it's just and so I don't think we would go into a bad business.
No.
Window tint and PPF shop is a great business, especially if you don't know what to do. I think it's a great way to get started, at least for window tint. PPF, I think once you're able to learn how to deal with the customers and how to do the pretty much what window tinting, I think it's a great add-on to that.
Yep.
But other than that, like in any business, I think you just have to work hard.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that final thoughts. Well, not final thoughts, but I don't think in the beginning there's any need to pay for these courses unless you actually just want to go all in. Then yes. Yeah.
If you want to go all in, there are some courses that really tell you the steps. But like you said, there are free resources. We never spent anything on how to start an e-commerce business on Amazon. How to sell on our website and different marketplaces. It was just all YouTube, all learning through experience, books, and so we never paid for any course or anything like that to learn this skill, because really all the information is out there. It's up to you to kind of gather it and learn it.
And that goes more for the people that want to do it as a starting out, that they have a job and they want to do it in the weekends. I think it's good to learn, maybe after you get work, watch a video here and there, like installation tips, how to go about it, how do I approach a customer here and there. But if you do want to go all in, then yes, if you want to speed up the process, I 100% do believe that paying someone or paying a course or paying someone to tell you exactly what to do, this is what you need to do, step 1, step 2, step 3, and then to start going all in.
That was our thoughts on starting a window tint and PPF shop. I think overall it can be a great business if you work hard at it. But let us know what you think about window tint and PPF, if you've ever even heard of it. And so with all that being said, this has been another episode of Driven. My name is Juan.
My name is Alexis.
And we'll see you on the next one.